Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, this is Colby from the Colby Cast, and you're listening to Star Wars Reactions. Elegant discussion for a more civilized age.
There's been an awakening. Have you felt it?
In 1977, George Lucas formed a legacy.
Force is with me, and I am with the Force.
Inspired by mythology, his saga has become a passion for many.
Feel the Force around you.
His legend has become our story.
It's true. All
One of resistance,
we are a spark that'll light the fires that'll burn the first order down.
rebellion,
Rebellion is built on hope.
and redemption.
I am a Jedi, like my father before.
This is Star Wars Reactions.
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.
First off, this is not the reactions you were looking for. Once again, David and Aaron, it's springtime. Things are happening. So, you know what I like doing is going into other people's houses and rooting around in their stuff. No. So, yeah, Aaron had some family matters to take care of, and so we are, giving them a nice break. Aaron and David, don't worry. They will be back to reclaim this pod, and trust me, after the damage that we will be doing it once again. Well, you know what? They made it through Storm Reactions. They can pick up the pieces after this, but I am curious.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. So my name is Greg McLaughlin of the Rebel Base Card Podcast, and I roped in one Anthony King from Force Ghost Conversations once again to help out on this version of Star Wars Reactions. But I am curious, what did you talk about for the last 2 hours?
Revenge of the Sith. It's 20th anniversary. We're celebrating.
I'm telling you, and that's the thing that, of course, when David and Aaron get back, I mean, there is plenty of stuff going on. We have Star Wars Celebration. It's coming up. We're within days at this point. We have, we just have a trailer, and we'll be talking about this tonight for Tales of the Underworld. Boosh. Wow. We also have, as you just finished, Revenge of the Sith celebrating 20 years. Mm-hmm. Amazing. Andor Season 2. There's so much stuff out there.
All at the same time.
Nuts. All at the same time. It is absolutely nuts. So, Anthony, I know it's been a hot second since we talked. How have you been and what you been up to?
Hey, thanks for having me on. I'm doing pretty well. Just enjoying this wonderful time that is pre-celebration, where it's kind of like the calm before the storm, and before Andor, and before Tales of the Underworld, and who knows after that. I'm sure like Visions Volume 3 will drop in like August or something like that, and it's just like keeping that train running of things. And then we'll probably have another theoretically dark period until seemingly we get more information about Mandalorian and Grogu. So, gonna enjoy this fun little reprieve until Celebration hits, and then we'll be probably running full steam ahead until roughly probably October or something like that, and then taking a little, enjoying the reprieve of the holiday season as well as we re-gear for the next batch of Star Wars that comes out.
Oh my gosh, yes! And once again, thank you for coming on a show that neither of us. This is not our show. We're two hosts from two different shows, but that's what we do. It's kind of fun to kind of come in and kind of give them something fresh in the feed. Let them take care of what they need to take care of. They will be back to break down, because Andor. I don't know if we've had a chance to talk since the schedule for Andor came out, because it's all been a blur, Anthony. But, we are looking at, instead of 12 episodes over, like, let's say a 10-week period, we are getting 4 weeks of basically a movie a week. And, for everybody else, it's absolutely great. But let me just get your reaction to that. What kind of went through your mind?
Well, there's the fan in me is like, awesome. Like, I was like, okay, they did it for a reason, right? I think lots of Andor season 1 could be bunched into 3 episode batches. So logically, it makes sense to release them all at once because, you release some of those middle episodes of Andor season 1 as they did. You're like, okay, get me to next week, and we'll see how this thing concludes out. And now that we have the full package, you just watch them through together. You don't even most people probably don't do a week to week kind of watch of things anymore when you have the full package available to you. So I think it makes sense that they would do that. Also, I think there's a logistical matter of they need to have the episodes out before a certain date in order for it to count for awards type of stuff. I think for the Emmys particularly, which they're definitely gunning for based off of the marketing that they've done for this so far. Critics love it. Critics love Andor. And I think that's the practical and the fan side of me is like, yeah, let's do it. The podcaster side of me is like, holy cow, that's a lot to watch and then chat about immediately. Now, because my release schedule is for episodes on Sundays, it does allow me a bit more of a buffer to either schedule a guest or to chat about it and watch it maybe once or twice. Probably just once for these. I know a lot of people are gonna have to be struggling with that as they get into. I firmly accepted that I'm only gonna be able to get one watch or so in, especially when 9 o'clock Eastern time is the release for these for me at least. So pushing midnight by the time the show is done on Tuesday nights for all of May. So having that little buffer doesn't really affect my schedule too much. But the problem is that for my personal work, it's also going to be commencement season and around episodes weeks 3 or 4. So figuring out that problem is going to be a future me, where I have to figure out if I'm going to be recording from a hotel room, is the reliable Wi-Fi. I don't know. But that's a good problem to have. We used to live in a time when there wasn't Star Wars, and now that we get Star Wars and I get to figure out these equations, I'm all for it. So that's where my brain is at this point. It's just exciting anticipation. Frankly, I think that unless they're going to share something new with these trailers, I don't want to see a single one else after this point. But I don't think they've really shown a whole lot of different things between like the 3 quote-unquote trailers that they've shown thus far. And they have a panel at Celebration just like 3 days before it releases. I'm like, what are they going to possibly talk about or show there that hasn't already been talked about yet? Like, they're not going to reveal a big thing or show a trailer for something that people are going to see in 2 days. They're probably just going to have the cast out talk about things that they can't talk about and then say, join us tonight for a special episode. You can watch the first episode of Andor, and then that's probably the treat that those folks will get. But other than that, just excited for it. I think the real wrench in the thing that I wasn't preparing for was Tales of the Underworld now being thrown in the midst there. Happy that they're doing something for May 4th, but just why not release an Andor episode, one of the batches of Andor episodes on May 4th and save Tales of the Underworld for like the upcoming impending darker times where I'm like looking at October, November, perhaps, where it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of Star Wars on the calendar.
There's a lot to unpack there, and for one, I'm going to say I agree. It didn't seem like in the subsequent Andor trailers that we really got. It seemed like they just kind of remixed some of them. Although,
yeah, just to throw a new rock track under it or something like that.
Right? Yeah, it seemed like that rock track was like ages ago when that was the whole thing, and then the
like
subsequent
3 weeks ago.
I know it was like 3 weeks ago. But it's funny that they can't seem to wait to show us the thing, and it's kind of funny that you're right. You would expect, you would kind of expect Andor to get so much more time on Disney Plus to itself, and then you're going to have Tales of the Underworld come right after that, and we'll kind of talk about that in a second. But on the one hand, I like your thinking. Sometimes I try not to like watch the subsequent trailers because I don't want to see any more. But I felt like I've already seen what they want me to see, which is everybody that I'm curious about. We see K2, we see Saw Gerrera, we see Mon Mothma, we see everybody there. We see Bix, we see Brasso. that kid, I can't remember what his name is. Don't care. Don't at me. But you see your principal BMO, right? You see all that stuff, and now it's like, okay. And in this case, we know that we know where this show is going to end, and so you see Dee Ramiro, you see Cyril Karn, you see all that. Mama Karn, ha ha, yes. But
more cereal.
More cereal. I swear to God, if I see cereal again, I'm gonna lose my mind. So we're seeing all that. You know, we know it's gonna be a hit. It's gonna be really tough to kind of cover because there's gonna be so much within each one. Now my take personally is I don't think the episodes maybe are that long because otherwise, you know, we'll be up for a couple hours or more watching this.
Yeah, no hour-long episodes, please.
But maybe not. Yeah. So on the one hand, and then I don't know if I'll ever watch the series the same way again, where I'm watching them maybe 3 to go. Whereas before, I would like to take one at a time, you know, kind of take it in. I mean, can you imagine trying to do that with, like, say, Daredevil Born Again? I mean, you know, I can barely make it through one because it's so dang dense. Didn't say it was bad. Colby, don't at me. You know, but it's one of those where you go, okay, well, I've got to sit down and there's a lot of dialogue in here. And you're just kind of wondering, are they just kind of leaning into the short episodes and going, all right, have at it.
How to have fun anytime, anywhere. Step 1, go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2, collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3, play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4, unleash your excitement.
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
And then, you know, you guys can pick up the pieces afterwards. I'm like, you know, so I don't know.
Yeah, Tony Gilroy's like, I'll do what I want. You guys will get it.
Did you watch the YouTube that they had with him?
I sure did.
Okay.
Yep.
You're going to have to kind of break it down. I wasn't sure whether I wanted to watch it or was it going to give any away spoilers. What was your kind of reaction? Yeah. What was your takeaway from the Gilroy thing?
Immediate takeaway is, you know, you don't have to watch it. There's nothing, nothing real revelatory
in
my opinion about it. Yeah, I mean, sure, there's some fun behind the scenes tidbits about like the production of things, but they really just went through like various moments of the first season of Andor as like a kind of a victory lap in a way. That's what it kind of felt like. Or they just like walk through and then Tony Gilroy would point out some things like, hey, this was your first day on set, right? And then they'd bring in maybe like the actor or actress that was primarily involved in it. So like the Genevieve O'Reilly and the actress that plays Bix Colleen was on, and then a few others throughout the course of the hour. And that's basically what they did. You know, they of course would then be like, what can you tell us about season 2? And then they'd be like, you know, I can't really tell you anything. So that was just a recurring theme. It's kind of what I expect nowadays when it comes to like these press junket things that they're doing. But it was okay. Again, I didn't go into it expecting something amazing and revelatory, and then at the end they showed the trailer that was also released at a day before or something like that, and then that was kind of it. So again, it's available on YouTube if anyone wants to rewatch it, but you know, I wouldn't go in with high expectations, and if you just want some behind the scenes information about the making of Andor, you're gonna have a good time.
I'd almost just rather say save it for the gallery, which is another good question. We didn't get a gallery for Acolyte. We didn't get one.
Not yet, perhaps.
Yeah, not yet.
Maybe.
We didn't get one for Skeleton Crew, right? No.
Not yet, indeed.
So do we get one for Andor Season 2?
Did we get one for Andor Season 1?
I thought we did. Wow, boy, are we great podcasters or what?
I don't recall getting one for Andor because it just felt like
Disney
more
Plus.
of the Favreau Filoni works got the behind the scenes documentaries. I don't recall one for Andor because I would have definitely ate that up. I think I don't. No, I could be entirely wrong here. So, folks, forgive me if in my in my rememberings if I don't recall the Andor behind the scenes documentary. But yeah, do we get one? maybe now if they know that this is the end, so if if they want to do a recap of the entirety of it all and talk through the making of it and all that, maybe that's something they could do. I don't know if Disney Plus is just kind of shying away from documentaries of the stuff that they're producing like they used to do, because the Marvel documentaries that they've been doing for like all the new things have been less and less over the past couple of last year, I think. So I haven't seen those as frequently as I remember them being. Definitely the Star Wars ones haven't. So Acolyte and Skeleton Crew weren't as big. Not they were big shows, but the documentaries didn't come out. So that's an interesting question about those. Yeah, I was wondering, they have to feed a content machine, and I feel like documentaries behind the scenes of making things are an easy way to get things up on the site and keep things fresh and moving when you need, like, as I know we've talked about.
I was going to say, it was what a great
once
segue
Daredevil and Andor season 2 are, and do you reduce it to the ad version, or do you just get rid of it until you save yourself $10 for 3 months or so until something else pops up, and then you're like, great, I'll re-sign up again, and by then they'll probably have some like sign up and it's $2.99 deal, and then you just take advantage of that. And is that the way that everyone meanders streaming services nowadays, where it's like, okay, do you have a show that I'm interested in? No, then I'll cancel you, and then I don't need to have a loyalty to you anymore.
Well, it's interesting because it's like when Disney Plus first came out, at $15 for the bundle, it was a no-brainer. And then now I find myself, and we've talked about it on our shows, whereas I'm like, well, if you're gonna scrunch Andor together, and now you're gonna give me Tales, and I don't know when Visions is, and it's gonna be a while, then I'm like, I don't feel that I really need to at least stay. I don't really feel that I need to stay on the no ad tour if I can save $10 a month and go after that. So it's funny because it's like a documentary, which we've done shows on documentaries. Thank you very much. I've been on when we talked about the Abbey Road one, but it seems like such a no-brainer because anymore, I mean, heck, anybody with a phone on a set has what you need to film it. And it's almost like it's a victory lap, right? So whether you want to do it whether you want to like repurpose some of it for YouTube or to put it on Disney Plus, like you're right. Once we kind of get past, Andor and maybe have watched it again and seen Tales, I'm fine with the ad. I hate to say it, I'm fine with the ad tier going forward because I have my purchases. I have all, the movies, if need be, if I wanted to, I might even go after some of the physical media if there was something on some of those series. We know that they have released some of the shows on, on Blu-ray and so forth. If there are specials there and you're like, all right, and if you got commentary, I'm like, well, I'm more than fine. I can stick a disc into a thing and watch the thing and enjoy it. And if I want to, shoot, look at Pluto, right? I'm going to go on Pluto if I want to get my Star Trek on, and I can just have that and it just runs continually 24/7. So yeah, it's still Disney Plus still baffles me, and I'll be curious what we're kind of wrapping in all these things together, but they are kind of all connected. When it gets to Star Wars Celebration, you go, well, okay, what are you going to announce now? And what are you going to announce that's going to keep me on a higher tier? Or maybe the whole goal was to get me on the ad tier so they can make money from the subscription and make more money from more ads. And you go, okay, you got me. I'll save money. Oh, you're like, shoot. What was I thinking about spending more money for ad-free? But maybe that was the thing all along. I don't know. You got to talk me off the cliff there, Mr. King.
Yeah, I think they definitely, at some point in the future, they need to announce the why to keep it. Right. I think they may see, frankly, a big influx, as I don't know when the next Marvel thing comes out either for the platform. I know they have maybe one or two more shows, but without a concrete date of when something is coming out, like I think especially after Andor is done, it's knowing that they could have had upwards of 10 to 12 weeks of good solid Andor over the summer. Instead, they opted for the other way. That may be a decision that they come to regret based off of money later on. I don't know if it's worth it to have the critical acclaim and the awards afterwards, and then to make money via that, or to just have a consistent product throughout the summer and keep people subscribed week to week and month to month. I think at Celebration, it's tough because Celebration, aside from London, which this may be a detriment to what they did at London, they typically do not release like new announcements for like upcoming movies. That's traditionally it's not a thing that they do at Celebration. Now, aside from London, where they're like, all right, here's Mangold, and here's the new Jedi Order film, and here's announcing like 3 upcoming films that weren't really on the docket for full, or at least confirming things that may have been about rumor and talking about the future of that. Now, frankly, aside from other films, we haven't really seen the progress on any of those that were announced last year, and that to a degree that makes people go like, all right, well, what's the deal here? And then Lucasfilm is always under a constant scrutiny of, well, you announced something and now it's not happening, and now I'm disappointed, and now I'm particularly one of those people where I'm like, you announced it, I don't really care until you go into production. Like, fool me once. I constantly think about the Investor Day 2020 where they announced so many projects at once, and I see every now and then someone posts a picture of all the things with Kathy Kennedy and the things behind her of all the logos and just like X's on the things that were either delayed or canceled outright. So I'd be wary about new announcements at the convention itself. I know Mandalorian Grogu is going to be the primarily thing that is talked about at the convention because that's the first big panel of the whole shindig. It's going to be a big focus on that. That's the next movie coming out, so it's obviously great that that's going to be the focal point. There isn't going to be a celebration until the movie comes out, so this is their one and only chance to really get in front of the big Star Wars audience and say like, hey, this is us. We're returning back to the theaters. This is a big celebratory moment. I definitely believe a trailer will come out from that. They've already shown footage at D23, both in Anaheim, and then they did the D23 in Brazil a couple weeks back in November. So they have footage. I'm sure they've only been constantly working on updating that footage, and they should be ready with a trailer, in my opinion, especially knowing that the movie comes out in 2026. Now, is it premature to release something this early out? Maybe. But they've been done with it as far as I know. Like, the film is done, it's wrapped, so they're just doing post-production work on it. And if they really wanted to, I'm sure they could scrounge up a minute of footage that has edited CG to get it up and running so they can release something for the fans that are clamoring for it. Now, the one thing that is interesting to me about Celebration that goes against what I just said, where they typically don't announce things or new things in terms of like footage and live action and all that stuff, is that it does seem at the animation look back panel that they were like a look towards the future. There was that little line that they threw in the description of that. So there seems like there's a good chance that they may hint at or at least announce whatever the next long-form animated project that Lucasfilm is currently working on. Now, we got Tales of the Underworld coming out. That's in the vein of Tales of the Jedi and Tales of the Empire.
Hey, it's Ryan Seacrest. Life comes at you fast, which is why it's important to find some time to relax. A little you time. Enter Chumba Casino. With no download required, you can jump on anytime, anywhere for the chance to redeem some serious prizes. So treat yourself with Chumba Casino and play over 100 online casino-style games, all for free. Go to ChumbaCasino.com to collect your free welcome bonus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
But I think whatever series that they're been working on for the last perhaps 2 years now is almost ready to come out. And if that does, then that could theoretically be coming out in November, December, October, somewhere in that range. So that may be your reason for keeping your subscription, at least for re-upping once that comes out. And that'll definitely be a week-to-week kind of endeavor.
And another thing they just might be doing is like, all right, so let's just say we clear the deck for Mando and Grogu. And so let's say
that can also be a thing too.
We're just going to focus on this. All the efforts are going to be, in which case it would be great to have a little pre-gallery on it, considering you have all the stuff you need. But you could also say like, all right, we're going to do an old-fashioned roll up your sleeves, and we're just going to pound the pavement to talk about Mando and Grogu for the next, less than a year, to be fair. So they could have something, they could have maybe a Christmas animated thing, or like where they kind of are a little more of a.
They might do a Lego special too. Yeah,
right. Or what you could do is re-release for broadcast, or maybe ABC gets Mandalorian season 1 or 2. Maybe they do a re-release of it. Maybe some watch parties. Maybe you would see, like, let's say a licensee like Topps or Top Star Wars Card Trader do another Mando watch party where they highlight.
Sure.
And maybe, even going back to some of the other seasons that, like we've season 1 is pretty well oiled and greased at this point. But you know what? I don't think I've gone back and watched Mando season 3 for a little bit. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's kind of time to do some unofficial or official type watch parties, or just kind of, like I said, just kind of get it going. I started thinking about, like, when the sequel trilogy started, and before The Force Awakens, we had a long time, because that was a Christmas release. And so even on the card side, we had, Journey to The Force Awakens and all that kind of stuff, the lead-ins. Weren't there, like, the novels, right? Weren't there
tons of novels and short stories and all that. Yep.
That led up to it. So maybe that will be another initiative where it's just like, all right, instead of trying to come up with all this content that may or may not be done, or may not be in production, we're just going to go, look, we're going to focus on this movie and all the supporting things, and we're just going to, like, blow the stuff out, and here's some young adult novels, here's some comic books, here's this or that. For the next 12 months, it's going to be all Mando all the time. We're going to get you excited. And so that way, when AMC comes out with the popcorn bucket, Greg and everybody else, and I will be the first in line, including my son, getting that, whatever it is it's going to be. Maybe it's the Mando bucket. There's a free one. There's a free one, AMC.
Or it could be just like Grogu, just as, eating popcorn out of his brain.
All right, you can rock me to sleep tonight. But once again, tying back into Celebration, right? So, I think I put that in your. I think I put that question into your feed. I'm going to save that for the show, for your show.
Okay, fair enough.
But I am curious, what are some things that are kind of piquing your interest for Star Wars Celebration that we know that they have announced or talked about?
Yeah, so I will say, I think the thing that's mostly piquing my interest right now is going to be I'm going to say the Ahsoka Season 2 panel right now at this point, just because it's been announced that it's in production, and I just think some more clarity over what the story is for that is going to be helpful. I think announcing Ray Stevenson's replacement and confirming that will be a nice thing. We'll be able to have, like, as a fandom, a moment of recognition for the work that he did in season 1. And I think that'll be awesome. But just to really, like, all the rumors that are circulating, perhaps they could bring out Hayden if he wants to fly out to Tokyo. I don't know if he's slated to be on the guest list or not. I don't recall. Maybe he is. So that'd be that's more stuff around that. I think it left it very ambiguous as an ending, and a very big ending at that too, right? Thrawn is now back in the main galaxy of Star Wars. Ahsoka is left out in this different galaxy out there. And what does all that mean? What are they looking for? Anakin is now Force Ghost with them. I think that's interesting, particularly for my podcast, Force Ghost Conversations. Right up my alley. If anytime you can get a Force Ghost speaking, you're like, oh, I'll just be Leo pointing at the screen meme. And where that could tie into, because I think one of those announcements made last year was that Dave Filoni climactic Mandoverse movie that they were running, full steam ahead towards, and it seems like Mandalorian and Grogu will be a connecting piece to that, and Ahsoka season 2 will be a connecting piece to that. Is there anything else in between there to get us to movie, or is movie next after both of those two come out? I don't know, but maybe some more clarity for surrounding all that will be really awesome, and that's where I go with that. I'll save my true answer for my podcast there in terms of, like, what I'm most looking forward to. So I'll stay on the lookout for that, folks, in an upcoming Force Ghost Conversations episode.
What's going to be fun is like, when we got to watch, the lives, especially from the London one, seeing the live stage, the little bits and pieces, the panels sometimes seem a little more coordinated, and they're kind of like by the numbers, where sometimes the lives feel a little more spontaneous, a little short,
off scripted a bit. Yeah.
I mean, it's as much as they can be, but it's what's kind of fun is that when we did a celebration show for London, and it was real popular. Had on a nice panel. We're gonna have to do that again. You got to be a part of this one because it was fun. Because everybody kind of was paying attention to a different thing, or it had to be able, or had been able to watch, and it was kind of nice because it's really hard if you're just one person to try to take it all in, and what does that get, and what does it mean, and how is it hitting? And so with everybody kind of chiming in like, oh, hey, I saw this, here is the book panel, here is this panel, here's this panel. It kind of gave you a really nice, especially for someone kind of listening and maybe someone who's sort of like, yes, I like Star Wars, I like listening to the podcast, but I just don't have the time. And those are kind of nice things, And even thinking about with Aaron and David being off, even, Dan's there from Coffee with Kenobi taking kind of a bit of a break, kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I went on vacation for a bit, although I was able to get most of my shows in, which was great. But it's kind of like recharging because I think that this is kind of the calm before the storm. And it's just going to be once it kicks in, once Celebration kicks in, and hello, it's Easter weekend, so you've got all that. Andor's going to kick in
with a Celebration that's at a different time zone entirely. Like it's going to be fully nocturnal for us.
So yeah, you're going to have to get up. You're going to see what's going on YouTube, and then the social media is going to be nuts, and then all this, and we're going to feel like we're behind the 8 ball from the get-go because we're going to be sleeping. And I know I lived in that time zone for a while, so I know exactly. It's like watching football at 3 a.m. and 7 a.m. in the morning. On a Monday, right? When it was supposed to be Sunday afternoon. So, I get it. So it's only, 3 days? I think it's a slightly shorter celebration. I am kind of excited because our mutual friend, Ross Hollabin and Daz Davies, they're going. I know a bunch of other people are going. I'm kind of excited because Dawn Murphy, she's an artist, a Tops artist, and a tremendous artist. This is going to be like her 3rd or 4th Celebration art show, and she has a piece, one of the 17 artists that are in that. I'm going to try to get her on my show so we can kind of talk about what's going on. But it's just there's so much there, and we're hopefully everybody kind of knows somebody that's going, and we're going to be kind of living vicariously through them. So it's going to be a great opener for Andor. And then everybody's just going to, it's kind of funny because it's going to be like, we're coming off that Celebration high, and then it's like Andor. So, they're going to be like, 4 hour,
no break.
4 hour Force Ghost Conversations episodes where it's just going to be, I'm going to turn this on as soon as I get home from work. I'm just going to turn on the mic at 5 o'clock, and we're going to wrap it around 9. And then, and it's just going to be like, nope, I'm just going to throw it in the feed raw. I don't care. We're not going to edit it. We're just going to let it go. And then, then we'll take the next 6 months trying to decipher it all. And on top of everything else, this week, a Tales of the Underworld trailer. Would you have lost money that this was the way they were going to go?
Yeah, I would have. First off, I wasn't even expecting them to announce anything, just because they've been putting so much into Andor, and with Celebration around the corner, I thought, oh man, there's just so much in this month alone. There's a lot going on. Heck, if you're a person that's following all canon, there's a ton of High Republic books and content that just came out either this week or in the next couple of weeks too, as they look to wrap up that story this summer as well. So, just one more thing to add into the mix of things for, for people that aren't in the podcasting space and have to think through the logistics of all right, I gotta schedule an episode here. What are my episodes looking like for the future? It's good to have a fresh stream of content, but it's also nice when it's spaced out over a period of time. So it's a bit more logical for us to handle this kind of stuff. But for for people at home that are just oh, I watched Andor last night. Oh, Tales of the Jedi is out. Happy May 4th. And then, another Andor episode comes out. Nice. I enjoyed it and I watched it, and now I go to work the next day. It's a lot different for the experience of it all. So I understand that the vast majority of the population that, ingests Star Wars is 99%, 0.99% doesn't have the same conflicts that we do when it comes to them announcing stuff at the same time and overlapping, right? I think many of us are either still burnt out and or have PTSD from the overlap of Bad Batch and Mandalorian season 3. And frankly, even before that too, Willow and Bad Batch at the same time too for me. So double dipping for a while there was quite an experience. So I think we all learned what is our appropriate release schedule? What can we handle? How much can we do in a week? And I think just when they announce so much at the same time, it just brings us back to like that time and mind frame again, where we have to recontextualize like that. And it's always good to remember, like, we're fans of this stuff first. We do this fun ancillary stuff second. And so I'm still like at the point where like I still enjoy doing both this and watching the stuff at the same time. It doesn't feel like a chore at all. So that's where my brain is at, contextualizing all this. But yeah, I didn't think that they'd have a new thing come out. Personally, wasn't on my radar at all. I thought that maybe they'd wait till like a celebration to announce upcoming animation projects, but someone posted that they've done an animation thing for the last 5 years on May 4th, and I thought, oh, well, maybe not this year. But
how to have fun anytime, anywhere. Step 1, go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2, collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3, play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games, all for free?
Step 4, unleash your excitement.
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
May 4th is now a generally accepted quote-unquote Star Wars holiday, and they have to do something for it seemingly every year henceforth now and in the future in regards to that. So, it makes sense. And, Tales of the Underworld, Tales of the Jedi, the Tales of thing is a great, easy way, and I'm sure it's not easy. I'm definitely simplifying the work that those animators do to tell these like seemingly quick stories. They're usually like 15 to 20 minutes long at that. So, if it's the same vein as the other ones, 6 episodes, 3 and 3, following these characters. For this one, Asajj Ventress and Cad Bane. And really interested to see where this goes. I was not expecting either of those characters to be named until I saw the poster first, so that really spoiled it for me. I didn't get to see the trailer fresh. So that did take that away. But I'm really excited. I wasn't expecting to see, frankly, either of them. So even going back a few years ago to Book of Boba Fett, didn't expect to see Cad Bane appear, and that wasn't on my bingo card. Didn't expect to see Asajj Ventress in Bad Batch, and that's for a different reason. I definitely was a big fan of the book Dark Disciple, and that was a very, in my opinion, clear ending for her character in that one. So maybe they'll talk about, they said when she did come back for Bad Batch, they're like, we'll talk about that story at a later date. And how it all fits in together. So maybe they've got some explaining to do in Tales of the Underworld, and that's the place that they'll do it. Or maybe it's a great springboard for future animated projects beyond this. Who knows? I'm letting it just be and exist, and then take me wherever you want to go.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that, like last year we had with, Barriss Offee and Morgan Elsbeth. Now we have maybe, it's funny, you could say they're two more well-known, but there's still deeper dives for Star
definitely
Wars
deeper
fans.
Cuts, I'll tell you that, yeah.
Right, but definitely have shown up, and, I'm like you. I like the tales of, I didn't collect the comics at the time. I wasn't in the States when those multiple different comic runs came out, but I thought it was a great, I think it's great because you can kind of tell whatever you want to tell, and it kind of gives you a theme, but I think these are two interesting stories. I'm probably more interested in the Asajj Ventress one because of what you said. Because of Dark Disciple, you're like, well, shouldn't she be? But then after a while, you're like, okay, she's in Bad Batch. That's great. I love her. I love the haircut. Yeah. And, we do seem like she's protecting a Jedi youngling or Padawan or somebody. Apparently lightsabers are pretty easy to find at this time. Kids are just picking them up off the streets. But you can't go, and you're wondering too, will these stories intersect? And you kind of throw us a little bit of a curve, because now you're kind of, and could you really tell who that dark side person was?
Was it Inquisitor? I couldn't tell.
It's weird.
I was trying to get a look at the lightsaber, but I'll admittedly say that I've only watched the trailer once, so didn't dissect it as much as probably others have had at this point.
No, more than once, and I still can't really get a clean picture, although I'm sure if I listen to some of the other podcasts...
You got to put it on the big screen and then really dissect it.
And then you kind of go frame by frame through it.
Frame by frame, that's right.
But that's also where I don't know if we'll get another trailer for Tales of the Underworld, but I don't know at this point, outside of probably doing a show. I think Greg and I are going to do a show on it. I don't know if I want to do anything more. I'm like, okay...
I mean, with how short the runtime is, I don't know if I would want to see more.
No.
Like, how much more could they show me without actually depicting a full episode at this point?
Let me ask you this. Knowing what we're going to get with Andor, will you binge Tales of the Underworld, or will you kind of savor them and take them slowly?
Good point. Generally because the quality of these Tales of have been so good, you just can't not watch the next one once it's out there. If they had done it where it's week to week, I've been okay with that too. But when they release them all at once, and it's like, all right, go for it. No, I will say, because of life, and usually they release these May 4th or something like that, and something else is generally always going around in my life at that same time. May is always a busy month. When you work at a university, folks, like, you're always being pulled in different directions, and commencement time is always around the corner. I didn't get to watch both Tales of the Empire and also Tales of the Jedi when they came out. I had to wait a few weeks afterwards before finally diving into both of those.
Oh, wow.
Haven't even done episodes on each of them yet. So that's, on the famous whiteboard here for all these years is right there, Tales of the Jedi and Tales of the Empire right up there.
Anniversary specials in quotes.
Going to add Tales of the Underworld to that too, and we'll eventually get to that at some point. But yeah, this might be the first time that I get to watch all of them in the right time frame that they're supposed to be coming out.
Well, and it also, when we talk about Star Wars reactions and, Dave and Aaron, it's kind of nice because, even though, they may not be here for the trailers and things like that, it's great to kind of sit and listen to them because of, one, they've been doing this for a long time, right? Star Wars reactions goes back to, the Rebels days, and then Resistance, and then they've taken it. And I also like their vintage reactions where they go back and they take some classic stuff. So sometimes it's not bad to kind of let this stuff kind of go, even like with you and, with Tales of the Jedi and Tales of the Empire, to kind of go back and do retrospectives or kind of wait and simmer, right? Let everybody who needs to, that makes a lot more money on their podcast, take care of all that stuff, get the 2-hour hot take ones out of the way, and then you can kind of do your own. And I think that's what, with each audience, whether it's Force Ghost Conversations or whether it's Rebel Base Guard or Star Wars reactions or Coffee with Kenobi, what have you, everybody kind of comes in with their own take. And it's kind of nice because we get to, after we're done, after we get done recording, we can kind of go listen to see what other people are doing. And invariably, everybody has something to kind of bring to the table, a point that we didn't get, we missed. And, I think everybody kind of serves the greater audience together. And then Mary tells us how good we did. That's great. Hi,
right.
Mary.
Thank you, Mary.
But at any rate, all right. I do kind of want to bring this to a close because we got to give everybody back to their sacred timelines and get their shows in. But I would say, this time it still feels like there's a lot of time left, but there isn't. And then at one point, everybody's just going to be nutty busy and doing it. But what are you kind of doing to kind of prep between now and then when it gets really crazy?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Getting the whiteboard markers.
Getting the whiteboard ready, getting guests together and scheduling things as much as you can in advance. That's always a nice thing. Rewatching Andor, I think, is a big one. Celebrations around the corner, folks. So it's about getting those plans in line. What are you doing? Are you taking off work so you can watch the live stream, or are you going to watch it on a delay, on a loop? I don't know. It's going to be tough with London was a whole animal. Because of the time zone difference. So I was up at 5 a.m. for those days, but it was nice to be done at lunchtime. And then you had the rest of the day to kind of take a nap and relax and do nothing. So that offered up a lot of opportunity for fun things in the evening to geek out about Star Wars and celebrate Star Wars as one does during this time. But with the complete nocturnal nature of the time zone differences that will be employed here, I joked to my wife, I'll be a different person over that weekend. We'll be ships passing in the night. Just figuring out all that stuff and getting the logistics in line is something that's big. And get your Andor rewatches in. That's it's a show that's going to be important, I think, very much so to the Star Wars story as we know it. Just everyone is, as far as I know, there's not a whole lot of people that are negative about Rogue One, and to get that story where we're going to go year to year all the way up to the point of, they say it's the events of Rogue One. I don't know if that's Cassian Andor walking on the Ring of Kafrene and then walking to meet his pal Tivik that he's going to take out eventually, or is it Yavin 4 where Jyn Erso is going to walk into the room? I don't know. We'll figure it. We'll get that answer in a couple weeks here, folks. So yeah, especially when I know I have to get episodes pre-recorded for all this, commencement and travel and just various things, people coming to visit. Life happens at the same time too, so all that kind of goes into the prep work for all this too. So logistics and planning and that's what leads to good results at the end of the day.
Exactly. And that's a great way to kind of bring this to kind of close, and also once again remind that family always comes first, and that's something that Star Wars Reactions always talks about. Aaron and David always talk about it. I just was kind of hoping that we could kind of come in, maybe fill a little bit of that void with, instead of storm reactions, it's little spring reactions.
Yes.
But this is a time, hey, circle the wagons a bit, take care of what you need to do, take some cues from some of these folks to go, look, all this stuff is going to come. We're all going to enjoy it. We're going to have a great time. We're going to sit down and everybody's going to be breaking it down all summer long, folks, because there may not be too much that comes after that, but there's going to be some great podcast listening after that. And of course, David and Aaron will be back sooner rather than later. But until that time, where can people find you, Mr. King?
Well, thank you so much, Greg, for inviting me on and for chatting. Always happy
mine,
to. Yes, that's right. It's fun to be in this little matrix loop here of of different levels to this thing. So, folks, if you enjoyed what you heard here, you can find me at Force Coast Conversations, my podcast. It's a cozy deep dive into all things Star Wars and Lucasfilm adjacent things. So you can find us on all the podcasting platform sites, including Spotify, Apple, Amazon Music, really any place you can find a podcast these days. Just search for Force Coast Conversations and we'll be there. We're also on a plethora of social media sites. So talking Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Threads, Blue Sky. I think that is all of them. Again, just search for Force Coast Conversations and we'll be there in some capacity so you can continue the conversation with us on those sites.
Excellent. And of course, you can find me over at the Rebel Base Card, and I'm on most of the socials at Rebel Base Card. You can also look for the Rebel Base Card on Apple Podcast and Spotify. And of course, if you're looking for more Star Wars reactions, you can find them. Generally, Aaron and David are kind of go under that SW Reactions. I know that SW Reactions on Instagram, swreactions.bluesky.social. On Blue Sky, I know they are on Pinterest and Tumblr. They can also be found wherever you find your podcast. All right, so I'm going to say I want to appreciate Anthony for being on, and just want to say whenever Aaron and David get back, we're going to enjoy it, and I can't wait to hear what they have to say about all the upcoming stuff that's going to be down the pipe before we knew it. All right. So for Anthony and myself, I'm going to say this was Star Wars Reactions, Spring Edition. Elegant discussion for a more civilized age.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or by Lucasfilm Limited. It's intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars. All names, sounds, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Disney and the respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Star Wars Reactions, unless otherwise indicated. Star Wars Reactions. Elegant discussion for a more civilized age.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.